From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Long cold winter makes it feel like we've all been in hibernation. I'm Chet Lehman. This week, we're going to pass along some tips because let's face it, we're not the only ones who've been hibernating all winter long.
I'm Jane McDonald, and I am about to be found by a very excited hound dog, and I can tell you how you can help the search and rescue dog team.
All right, it is 6:31 on this Monday. We were there and now we're here, Chet.
That's it. It doesn't just happen here in the studio. In fact,
Nope.
none of it ever does. And
No.
you and I have the honor of being able to be out in Southwest Montana regularly.
That's the best part of the job. It's super fun.
Absolutely it is.
All right, speaking of the best part, it's beautiful outside.
It is gorgeous
this
outside right now,
was
isn't
great.
it? Yeah, if you haven't been outside, peek out. Do it on a commercial break, though, because you're going to want to stay and watch all of the news. Clear skies right now as you take a look at the satellite and radar picture. That'll change a little bit as our day goes on. There will be some clouds and a possibility of a thunder shower, but delightful outside right now. Maybe turn the TV around to the front window and go sit on your deck.
Oh, there you go.
35 in Ennis, 42 in Dillon, 25 in West Yellowstone. Maybe take a sweater with you if you're in West Yellowstone doing that. 46 right now in Whitehall. It's going to be beautiful today. Temperatures in the 70s for the next couple, and then back into the 50s with rain.
All right.
We're still in Southwest Montana. That doesn't change.
No, that doesn't change. And what else doesn't change is the amount of time some of these dogs have worked to make the Gallatin County a safer place. Of course, I'm talking about the Gallatin County Search and Rescue Dog Team. Now, from hounds to shepherds and Labradors, these four-legged rescuers have put in more than 2,000 hours in training and rescue time just in the past year. So I went out to meet some of the dogs and share how you can help the team. And how do you think Jake likes his job?
Oh, he likes it.
Good job, Jake.
Yeah, that's his favorite thing, more than anything. And the treats at the end, so.
So as we speak, a member of the search and rescue dog team has my scent,
Let's find her.
and they're trying to find me.
So he gave him a scent article so that he can differentiate between who specifically that he's looking for. And this dog is definitely built for scent discrimination, so he can sort out which scent he is looking for, which person he has specifically been asked to find.
And it took Jake less than a minute to find me. It took you no time. Good boy, Jake.
Our dog teams are used quite often. They're called out anytime that we have a missing or lost person. The dog team is always notified and they respond immediately. And last year we used them quite often in urban searches.
Egan, go find.
Mountain terrain. They're used in every kind of condition and they're quite a valuable asset to our team.
Yes. And a valuable asset to the dogs is practicing their skills in different places.
We don't want to go to the same place over and over and over because that defeats the purpose of training the dogs to discover scents in new areas.
And that's something that Captain Secor says you can help with.
Something that would be really helpful to the dog team is if someone had a larger track or piece of land that we could train on. A lot of the times when we go to the same state land to train, it's overused, and so the dogs don't get new scents and new areas to search.
Getting exposed to a lot of new environments and smells could prove useful for any search in or out of the county.
So our dog team is a regional asset, so we can deploy it to other counties as needed. We're happy to help out other counties and provide our teams to help them find the missing and lost loved ones of their counties as well.
If you'd like to learn more about the dog team, or if you'd like to volunteer to have your property used as a practice ground, you can head over to our website. In Bozeman, Jane McDonald, MTN News.
It's just amazing, Chet, to see these dogs work. It's really, really awesome.
Awesome.
Well, and this is a story that we continue to follow. Members of the military who are unable to pay their bills or even put food on the table. The problem isn't a new one, but the fix appears to be more complicated than originally thought. Our Joe St. George with a look at how recent changes have actually helped relatively few service members and the new effort that is just getting underway to make life better for members of the military.
No matter where you are in the country, there's a good chance you will find a tribute or a statue dedicated to the military. Even in these partisan times, the armed forces command a level of respect from both sides of the aisle. But despite all of that respect, there are some staggering facts. The latest government statistics show around 1 in 4 armed service members have suffered from some form of food insecurity lately. That means around 286,000 members of our armed forces have struggled at least some point in the last few years of not being able to put food on their own table.
Hi, welcome to the event.
This issue is one that Scripps News has been following for a while. Last year, we reported on food bank-like events for military families in San Diego. We brought you the stories of families like the Javanars who serve our country but struggle to buy food.
In the back of my mind, where I'm like, did I budget properly?
To some degree, Congress thought they fixed this issue, or at least helped it last year. In the 2022 National Defense Authorization Act, they created a new basic needs allowance for lower-income service members. And while the funding is still working on being implemented, in recent days, Scripps News confirmed with the Pentagon that the fix is helping relatively few. Only as many as 2,400 members may be eligible for the bonus funding, the Pentagon told me. When you compare that with government statistics about food insecurity, that's less than 1% of the estimated need. That brings us to the present, where there's a renewed push for Congress to address this issue again.
We want to look at quality of life for all of our military.
And that is where Republican Congressman Don Bacon of Nebraska comes in. Earlier this year, the House Armed Services Committee announced the creation of a new subcommittee focused on quality of life issues. Congressman Bacon is in charge of it. He tells me he's already met with about 50 service members privately. The first public hearings will be in June. He says the goal is to meet twice a week for 8 months to come up with bipartisan recommendations to then pass in 2024.
The biggest issue that I heard, and it was pretty overwhelming, was housing. The quality of housing, the fact that the housing allowances when they're living off base doesn't cover the rent.
We spend over $800 billion a year on the military. Why do we have members of our armed forces on food stamps?
It's a great question, and we're going to stop it. It's not right, and it should make the average American mad as hell.
Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
Back in on the Treasure State, this winter has been hard on all of us. And as we head into spring, many of us are thinking about green grass and time outdoors. And this week in Fish and Wildlife, MTN's Chet Lehman shares some tips to help us make Montana's wildlife get to enjoy spring as well.
The days are getting longer, and that means many of us are gearing up to go out there. This week, before you do though, remember, others out there are also gearing up for spring.
Montana is bear country, no matter where you look, especially where we live here in western Montana, the chance of encountering both black bears and grizzly bears is there.
Winter was long. Some wildlife didn't survive. That's how nature works.
And those animal carcasses are actually an important seasonal food source for bears. They eat those as they're coming out of hibernation, and it provides some really good forage for them.
That being said, plan ahead and use your head.
Carrying and knowing how to use bear spray, traveling in groups, making casual noise to make your presence known while you're recreating. In just being alert, being aware of your surroundings and watching for bear sign, all are really important and easy steps people can take to avoid negative encounters with bears. And then when you do carry bear spray, make sure you put it in a place where you can get to it, in a second's notice, because that's, typically when people have encounters with bears or they're being charged by a bear, it's a matter of seconds is what you have to be able to respond and deploy bear spray. So
Jacobson also suggests checking the expiration date and giving it a little test in a safe place. Little preparation now can go a long way to preventing a serious encounter later. Somewhere in Montana, which is bear country, this week, Chet Lehman, MTN News.
All great tips, Chet. Thank you very much for bringing that up to us. All right, 6:40, time for a quick break here on Montana This Morning.